So we officially live in bizarre world as the Montreal Canadiens have knocked out the Pittsburgh Penguins in 4 games to head to the Stanley Cup Playoffs this season. We'll be taking a look at the details, all the games in this video. If you'd like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey and want to see the latest news around the NHL, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe down below, and let's take a look at this crazy series. So the year is 2020, and that just was confirmed here in this series. We have the Montreal Canadiens, who were the 12th seed in the Eastern Conference. They were 1 point away from not even making it. The Buffalo Sabres would have been in that spot against the, one of the best dynasties, one of the modern dynasties in the NHL, in the Pittsburgh Penguins, with Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Chris Letang, all those guys, and obviously the goaltending, which we'll talk about. And then you've got the Montreal Canadiens, who are just a couple of guys that got traded here and there, some underperforming wingers, and a couple of young guys in the system. And then you've got Shea Weber on the back end. So how did this happen? I mean, we're sitting here 4 games, and the Montreal Canadiens defeat the Pittsburgh Penguins. And this is why they play the games. And listen, it's been a couple of months since the Pittsburgh Penguins have been in action, and that definitely had a lot to do with it here for the Pittsburgh Penguins. But the big issue for the Pittsburgh Penguins, goaltending. They weren't able to get goaltending throughout this series. It seemed, Matt Murray, the first couple of games, just really wasn't that great. Didn't make the saves when he really needed to. I guess he did in game 2, but that's because Pittsburgh scored 3 goals, and he only gave up the 1. But the other games, it didn't ever seem like Pittsburgh really had it. I mean, they came back in game 1, which that was a solid performance, but inevitably lost in overtime. They weren't able to get that critical goal like we've seen in the past with guys like Crosby and Malkin, and that critical save in overtime, which we saw Carey Price. We knew Carey Price was good. And this is the perfect scenario for a guy like Carey Price. He's kind of fallen off the map over the past couple of years with his injuries and his lack of performance. And let's be honest, they haven't been in the playoffs all that often. So we haven't been talking about the Canadiens' goaltender as much as he probably deserves. And he seems to be in full form here in these playoffs. They will be going off to the first round to take on either Tampa Bay, the Philadelphia Flyers, the Washington Capitals, or the Boston Bruins. And I think the Boston Bruins would be a great series. But anyway, any of those series, even Tampa, that would be a great series. Even Montreal, they played in the playoffs a couple years back, as well as the Washington Capitals. So any of these series could be really solid for the Canadiens. But I think we all want to see Boston, Montreal. If we can't have Boston, Toronto, I think that's what we're going to want to see. So I'm just shocked. I mean, I really can't believe that we're sitting here talking about this. I mean, when going into Game 4 here, they announced that Tristan Jarry would be starting for the Pittsburgh Penguins. This was the absolute sign of desperation because he's gone 0-4-1 or 0-4-2 in his past 5 or 6 games in the regular season. He really struggled with the Pittsburgh Penguins. His numbers were not great, so the Penguins were really throwing a Hail Mary pass, hoping Tristan Jarry maybe had another bit of lightning in the bottle to get them back in this series. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, and it really was noticeable at the end of the game. That last shot in Game 4, where the Montreal Canadiens go up with under 5 minutes to go in the third period, they get a goal that Tristan Jarry, I probably could have done what he did. He was so out of position and just completely out of his net. It was a really bad situation there. But I've got to be honest, I think the most interesting thing we're talking about now after this series is the fact that the Montreal Canadiens will officially be out of the sweepstakes for that 12.5% chance of getting Alexis Lafreniere. So that means the Pittsburgh Penguins officially have a 12.5% chance of drafting Alexis Lafreniere to add to that amazing forward group they have already in Jake Guentzel, Connor Sheary, Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin. Do I need to keep going? Alexis Lafreniere could be in that mix as well, which is just a really, really scary thought. but it's a possibility now for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So the Pittsburgh Penguins join the New York Rangers and the Nashville Predators in that scenario. And by the time I upload this video, we possibly may be even seeing, dare I say, the Toronto Maple Leafs in this scenario as well. And the Winnipeg Jets, who we all forget they lost last night, but I'll be making a video about that as well. So let me know down in the comment section down below. Habs fans, are you shocked that you defeated the Pittsburgh Penguins? Not only did you beat them, but you beat them in 4 games, and in pretty convincing fashion in Game 4. I mean, it was a pretty close game up until the end there, but the Habs, really, a lot of credit to the Habs. Carey Price played unbelievably well in this series. If he could keep that up here in the playoffs, the Habs could be a dark horse team to keep an eye on here in this year's playoffs. Let me know down in the comment section down below. And I know Pittsburgh fans, I know you're looking at that 12.5% chance and running that lottery just to see how many times you could see a Lafreniere, Gensel, and Crosby line, because that is very much up in the air at this point. So that's it for this video. If you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe down below. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.